So we got a little pre-launch discussion as this sneaker hasn't dropped yet. Matter of fact, the official rollout hasn't even began quite just yet, but we have had some small initial teasers. This is a special one from Jordan Brand, slated to release coming up here in October, a sneaker which personally I'm interested in, and I'm guessing many of you watching probably are as well. But I do have to say, from Jordan Brand, the small little details, they do matter. Maybe not to like the general audience, but as far as like your core audience, which I'm guessing this release is probably intended to, those small special little details, the callbacks to the original releases, they are important, which also leads to a kind of bigger discussion as far as Jordan Brand's current retail prices versus the quality of the product that they're actually putting out to the market right now as we speak. So of course, we're talking about these Infinite Archive Jordan 17s, which upon the first initial looks right here, just when we talk about the design, while everybody may not be a fan of these, if you are, you probably appreciate the minimalistic but also kind of futuristic design, which is also interesting due to the fact that this sneaker originally debuted back in 2001. So I guess you could say the Jordan Brand designers at the time were kind of ahead of their time, or you could say that this sneaker has aged well. And I think with Jordan Brand on top of that, there's a lot of nostalgia for this model right here. I've talked about it a lot, but Jordan Brand, they've gotten away with just the same rinse and repeat strategy of retroing models 1 through 14 for years now. And I think they've done a poor job of kind of introducing, models 15 and up, which I feel like as far as their back catalog in the vault, these shoes have so much potential. A lot of people have nostalgia for those sneakers as well, which we know currently nostalgia is selling huge in every business venture. And I feel like for everybody, like let's say 30 and up, they probably have a lot of memories attached to these models, whether you were an adult, teenager, or a kid like myself when we originally saw the Jordan 17 make its debut back in 2001. And if you're kind of wondering, like, what's the deal with the whole briefcase and everything, this was during a time where MJ, he was coming out of his second retirement, after his second three-peat championship run with the Chicago Bulls. You guys know he was taking his talents over to the Washington Wizards, which before that season rolled out, and with the Jordan 17 commercial, which don't get me started back in the days, like how important them Jordan commercials were, which of course, back then, you guys already know like commercials were a lot more important to us, of course, back then and everything. But when you talk about this commercial, what I remember, it was kind of like a business meeting or something like that. Jordan was carrying this briefcase and everything, which was kind of a sign of him, like, let's say it was like a back to business theme, as he was taking his talents back to the court. So for me as a kid, like not actually owning the sneakers or anything like that, I got so many memories, about the commercial and everything like that, which is kind of crazy due to the fact that after searching, I can't find this commercial anywhere on the net, which I think the commercial had an extended runtime. It felt like it was like 10 minutes or something back in the day, which was also kind of mind-blowing. But it's also strange that it feels like that commercial has been kind of like erased from the internet completely. But I'm not tripping, I'm not dreaming about it. It was definitely a thing I remember. So comment down below, let me know if you guys have any memories of that commercial. Now, upon the initial release of the 17, we also did see Jordan Brand hit us with a 17 low, which also made a brief appearance last year with a couple limited releases, briefcase included and everything. And then of course we did have the 17 plus, which that sneaker also did make a little retro appearance, years back in 2016. But when you talk about these 17s, remember, man, there's so many people that have nostalgia for these models. I'm guessing, like, if somebody sees that this pair is dropping, they're probably like, yo, I definitely remember these from back in the day. Now, as far as the campaign for this Infinite Archives pair, of course, we have seen different pairs teased with different themes. Of course, you got the Mike Bibby, old Sacramento Kings PE attached to this one, which was previewed earlier in the year. You also have this red pair, which is based off of this sample, which appeared in this kind of Michael Finley Jordan Brand ad back in the day. And then of course you have this blue pair, which is based off that OG Jordan 17 colorway, but this time in low top form, which people were loving these bright, beautiful colorways. But when you talk about the actual retail pair that will be dropping in collaboration with Infinite Archives, this is what we're getting, which kind of was disappointing to some people, but my guess, based off kind of like the anime inspired visual teasers that we've received, it's almost kind of like a Infinity Stone type of, what's it called? What are them boys called? The Justice League or the Marvel people, man. You guys know with the Infinite Stones and all that, all kind of coming together, the Avengers. It kind of reminds me of all of those colors kind of coming together to create what we have right here when you talk about the Jordan 17 low Infinite Archives collaboration. Now, what I feel like, this is a good looking shoe and everything. Retail is gonna be $305 on these right here, which that retail price kind of raises a red flag $305 at the end of the day, we're still going to pay that price. We're still going to pay the ticket. But what to me was kind of crazy, which also was, I don't want to say alarming or anything like that, but look, no briefcase included. This is actually going to be just the Jordan 17, just in your standard black box, which is kind of a throwback vibe as well. I know the picture is cut off right here, but it does actually say 17. I saw another image of this right here, which, like, for me, I mean, $305. We get it. Last year, the 17s, which dropped, they retailed for $300. You know what I'm saying? But remember, those 17s actually included the briefcase and everything like that. So with Jordan Brand dropping these for $305 with no briefcase, I gotta say, y'all kind of playing with us right here. I mean, we're all still gonna pay that ticket and everything, but it doesn't mean we're not gonna sit here and complain or anything. And for everybody in the comments that feels like I'm bitching, it's like, yo, we're gonna pay the ticket, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of the principle of the whole thing. Like, y'all really gonna sit here and charge us $305 and then, drop small details like the briefcase, which at the end of the day, we're not wearing the briefcase or anything like that, but we're just talking about the retail price versus the quality of the product that we're receiving here. But I would have to say these joints are definitely nice. When you talk about this look, the shade looks a lot more lighter. I'm guessing it's just the lighting and everything, but when you guys actually see these in hand, I think they're gonna have more of kind of this sail finish, which I feel like this is a dope looking sneaker, and definitely one that's on top of my hit list when you talk about Jordan Retro releases remaining here in 2025. So let me know what you guys think about this sneaker right here. Are you guys kind of upset that the briefcase won't be included? Do those small little details matter to you or not? I just really feel like it's the whole principle of the price versus them skimping out on some of the small details. But just based off the impressions, this is definitely a solid looking sneaker, one that I would definitely like to add to the rotation, which also leads to a bigger discussion when we talk about these Jordan retail prices versus the quality, the output of the product that's actually hitting the market. Of course, with sneakers like the Shattered Backboard, Jordan 1s getting ready to drop this weekend, a lot of people would complain that when you talk about Jordan retro releases throughout the years, the quality has just gotten worse and worse, which I would have to say that's a discussion that, kind of always comes up when you talk about Jordan retros. It's nothing new to the sneaker game. People have been complaining about the quality of Jordan retro since retro started, dropping back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Of course, as y'all know, these retros are more intended for a lifestyle purpose, while the original OG Jordans, did have some more kind of technology, which was the most modern at the time. But again, these are sneakers which, designs come back from dating back to the 80s, through the 90s to the early 2000s. So of course, with these being more of a lifestyle version of those past models with outdated tech and everything, the quality isn't going to compare to what those original drops were. That's always been the discussion that's been going on since these retros have began. But I would say, like based off the quality of Jordan retros, like say that we're dropping like maybe 10, 15 years ago, in my opinion, I think the quality is actually better. I can't really say if the materials, like the actual quality of the materials are better or anything like that. But when you talk about these newer Jordan retros, specifically like the ones we've been getting this year, last year, I think what's better about them is kind of like the shape. You know what I'm saying? I think they've refined the shape of a lot of these models. And in my opinion, it feels like they're getting those small little details, as far as like the shape, certain little small details which matter to particular releases. I think they're doing a lot better job. And when you talk about these releases, a lot of people are saying that these sneakers are a lot more true to the original OG designs than we've seen as far as a lot of Jordan retros, which have been dropping over the past couple of decades or so. But them skimping out on small little details such as the briefcase while up in retail prices, of course, you already know. You guys are gonna hear my mouth about it, Jordan Brand. So what do you guys think about the whole quality versus retail prices? Of course, we know in every industry, retail prices are gonna continue to increase, but nobody ever wants to support a brand which you see prices increase, but then them skimping out on quality and everything like that. But I think for the most part, with these Jordans being mass produced and everything, Jordan Brand is doing a pretty decent job when you talk about the quality of releases. Of course, things could be a whole lot better. We see brands like New Balance do it. So how come Jordan Brand can't really get this whole quality aspect down right? Like, I think the materials could be a lot better per se, but as far as like the shapes, the small little details, I think they're doing a pretty decent job on that. So let me know what you guys think. And when you talk about these Infinite Archive joints, which is the main topic of today's video, Let me know if you guys are rocking with these. Do you have any nostalgic memories for this release right here? Or do you just feel like, you know, these are just a dope looking sneaker, regardless of the history? You just like how these joints look. So drop your feedback down below. We also have had some confirmation that Jordan Brand is supposed to also be tapping into model 16, 18, and I think 15 next year as well. So I'm excited to see Jordan Brand finally start to dip their toes into that water as well. So JATV, that's all I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. If you made it through the end, let me know by dropping a salute. I'll catch you guys next time. In the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out. Love.